sensation of accomplishment because they had never been exposed to actually saving someone's life. And to be able to do that was something that most people had not even thought of, let alone dreamed of.
What better job can you have than going out and rescue people? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's the best job in the Air Force. You know, there's no better. What else can you do unless you're a brain surgeon? You know.
For nearly 4 decades, the 129th Rescue Wing has been tasked with saving lives. The California Air National Guard's 129th Rescue Wing marked a milestone May 18th after saving its 1,000th life. The save is just 36 years after the first rescue.
I think being a part of a search and rescue team, I think just the fact that that we can go out and do our part to save someone's life is just, you know, what else can you ask for?
Search and rescue has not always been the 129th's mission, and Moffett Federal Airfield has not always been called home. The birth of the 129th began in April 1955 when it was known as the 129th Air Resupply Group and based at the Hayward Airport. Over the next 20 years, the future looked uncertain as the 129th underwent 3 name changes and several aircraft conversions.
So they had to start a new unit at Hayward in order to keep the Guard in business. So we started the 129th.
We were the supply group at that particular time. From there, we graduated into the 129th Rescue Squadron. Rescue Squadron, and we got our first H-3 helicopter and C-130. And from that point on, we just, what we are today is just, we've changed aircraft several times.
You got to remember the 129th, before it got the mission, was going to close. The base was ready to lock the front gates. And through the efforts of primarily General Santos, who was the colonel in charge at the time, and Colonel John O'Sullivan, who flew back and forth to Washington, D.C., they ended up with a mission that you're talking about today.
It wasn't until April 1975 the 129th received its new flying mission as combat and civilian rescue. 2 years later, March 1977, the unit had its first save.
Well, you know, the rescue actually happened, as I recall. They were on an exercise down in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, Nevada, Nellis Air Force Base, red flag exercise. We get tasked to go down there and fly cover for the fighter units coming in. A fighter unit comes in with a commander, goes, the 129th is an Air Guard unit. I don't think they should be flying these missions. You know, we're out here, we're fighter jock, we're bad dudes. You know, what are these Johnny-come-latelys doing here? Guess who went in? The commander of that fighter unit came in low and slow and put it in the dirt, and we were there like 3 minutes and got him out, got him in the hospital, saved his neck. And guess who thought the 129th could walk on water when he left Las Vegas? That was all right.
And now we've got an actual SAR. So we find out more, we'll proceed inbound to what you're doing right now.
We saw a cloud of dust and couldn't hear the explosion because we were in the pressurized C-130, but we certainly saw it.
Okay, Johnny, we're circling the survivor right now. We're at 360 over the survivors, and the rescue wants to know cause of crash whenever you get on board to find out something.
It just so happens that I had 2 pararescuemen in the back of the HC-130 ready to go on a training mission with all their equipment. So we're about 90 seconds from where he crashed by airplane. So we got into a pattern. I told them in the back to get ready. And I expected to find just a casualty, as in a death.
There's one, he's on the ground. I understand he has 2 broken legs. He's in the care of in a pickup truck with a range medic. Roger.
the range people had already got the guy, and they got him on a stretcher, and they had him ready to be picked up. So we just landed, and it was really easy. We picked him up, we got him in the helicopter. The PJs were there, and they provided you know, first aid, whatever else they needed to do for him while we were transporting him.
Looks like he got too low. Yeah, he did. He just smeared it along the ground. Did he punch out? We don't know.
People say he ejected. At the time, the prevailing thought was that he rode it in, because when they found him strapped in a seat, 2 broken legs, broken back, face and head injuries, and the whole thing, but alive.
All I could think of was, please don't die in my helicopter. Please don't die, you know. And we made it back, and it was okay.
So then the first save validated the colonel's push for a new mission.
In 1984, in order to provide better rescue capability to the state and nation, the 129th made its move from Hayward Airport to Moffett Field, where the 129th has remained since.
General Santos, who's no longer with us, wanted to get the airplanes down here because he was worried about the 130s at Hayward because the runway is so short. And plus, you could just walk off the street down there and you're on the ramp, you know. And he was very worried about that. So they got down here. We were supporting from 30 miles away. It's 30 miles to Hayward A&G base from here. And we supported for, I'd say, I'm pretty sure it's around 3 years, moving sections down, 1 section at a time, 1 section at a time, 1 section at a time.
Big reason we moved down here to Moffett, because we could take on a full fuel load and do our missions and do the rescue and whatever was necessary.
The achievements of the men and women from their first save nearly 35 years ago to today, we have 1,003, and that number will probably climb before this video airs. It's just an extraordinary achievement. We did our first night vision mission in the 1990s, where we launched a group of airmen, a helicopter and a C-130 in inclement weather to go recover a merchant sailor who had lost his leg during the rough seas. We've done missions where we've recovered people from the top of Mount Shasta, floods, fires, hurricanes, earthquakes, you name it. The most extraordinary thing, though, is that we don't have a full-time alert force. Our airmen are always ready, and they step up to the occasion. The exception to that is when we're in combat, or if there's a disaster where we're put in an emergency posture.
Years went by as the 129th remained mission ready, collecting more rescues and establishing a reputation for saving lives.
It went from disaster rescues and combat rescues, whereas before we had gotten them, the rescues had trickled in from long-range overwater rescues and plane crashes and the like. We just had more opportunity to rescue people.
In 2003, we got our 300th save. So it's 2013, 10 years later for public math, that's 703 saves. And that's due to ops tempo. That's due to 2 theaters, expanding capability to get further out to sea and up to the mountains and get civil SARs off the ground.
The vast growth in lives saved can be greatly attributed to the global war on terror and Mother Nature's destruction, such as the devastating hurricanes like Katrina and Ike.
Before we hit the 1,000 mark, everybody was excited on base. We were all waiting for that number to hit 1,000. And we knew that was going to happen. Our troops were deployed in Afghanistan.
I'll tell you a little history about leading up to the 1,000th save. Both teams, we had a day shift and we had a night shift. So we knew that we were getting close. Like they would post the numbers on the morning briefing. It would be like number 995. So we knew that we had 5 saves to go till the 1,000th. So everybody was kind of jockeying for this thing. I remember coming in at 1 a.m. We'd brief in the morning at 1 a.m. and the day shift had gotten 3 saves that day. So it went from 996 to 999. So we were waiting for that, that last save. So the schedule was kind of janky throughout the day. Some days we wouldn't fly at all. Other days we'd get multiple missions. So we knew that we were in the window for the 1,000th save.
The 1,000th save was actually accomplished on our deployment last spring in Afghanistan.
A Afghani soldier had a gunshot wound.
We got the call. It was towards the end of the alert cycle. We decided to take it.
We launched shortly after the call came in.
We took off and we flew out 60 miles north of the FOB we were stationed at.
It was a POI just outside a FOB, which was on the outskirts of a city.
We picked him up and we brought him back with minimal delay.
The work that everyone has done as a whole, for the guys actually doing the save, it's another save.
Everybody had the counter going. We knew that this would be the 1,000th save, but it was just like any other save that we were executing out there.
For me, it wouldn't matter if it was the first save or if it was the 1,000th save or the 5,000th. It was just, to be honest with you, it was another day doing the job. We go to sleep at night knowing that my guys are safe, the aircrew is safe, and the people that we pick up hopefully live to see another day.
Kudos to the aircrew and the PJs and all those people in Afghanistan that were part of the save. You know, I'm very proud of them.
The thing that felt really, really great about deploying with the PJs and the 129th was just watching them in action. You know, once I load the radios and I have, you know, everything that they need for communications, and they go out the door, they grab the radios, and they start running to the helicopters with all their gear. And I watch the helicopters spin up, and everybody is just working together to get that helicopter off the ground in less than 5 minutes, and it's just a wonderful feeling to see him take off. I'll watch the gunner wave at me, he'll salute me, and it's just awesome.
We'd been waiting for it for a couple of weeks, we've been preparing for it, and it was surreal. It's like that moment stopped in time.
We know we have the PJs. The PJs are the front of everything. They're like the celebrities, they're the cool guys, they have the best job. But in order for them to do their job, they need assistance behind the scenes as well. They need people to supply the materials.
My current title right now is full-time medical administrative officer for the 129th Rescue Wing.
I'm an age ranger.
RSQA program manager.
My job title is an age ranger.
I am an RF transmission technician.
My title is helicopter crew chief.
Knowledge operations manager.
My title is H-60 PAPOC crew chief.
Some of the duties I perform include processing promotion packages,
process travel orders,
dispatch and maintain age equipment for the flight line,
working off IO plans,
remove and replace parts on the helicopter,
helping members get re-enlisted,
prevention and treatment of corrosion,
help the help desk with computer support, make sure that the users' desktops and workstations are fully operational so that they can do their job.
Make sure that the aircraft is fully mission capable.
Of course, the pilots, the air crews, and so they're all part of a team. The pilots couldn't get over there without the airplane being in good shape. They couldn't fly the airplane if it wasn't in good shape. They couldn't communicate if the radios weren't working. They couldn't eat if the mess hall wasn't working. They couldn't go to church if the church wasn't open. There's all kinds of things that go into a unit. It's not just the flying unit. They get the credit a lot of times, but the people behind the pilots are the ones that should get a lot more of the credit. I've always felt that way.
These things we do that others may live is the motto that the Air Force rescue community lives by, the motivating force of those involved in the mission, even the inspiration to be a part of what now has become a legacy.
We lost our first pararescueman, Zimmerman, before he became operational on a practice jump. And the day that I got emailed from Florida, I got an email saying, "You guys have just got your 1,000th save." It's the first guy I thought of, was Zimmerman.
Edge firm, 123.
Okay, Charlie 3-1, Charlie 3-2, heading 123, 123.
Dallas. Las Vegas. Has anybody heard a condition on the survivor?
Negative.
Okay, one of them's off the ground. I think that's 3-2. That's 3-1, he said. 3-1 said he was the one ready to go.